let's move on to some difficult expressions regarding algebra. For example, you can see uh, there is a formula a is equals to 1 over 2 into height bracket c plus d bracket close, and here you have to make an expression for c in terms of a, h and d. So when the question asks you to make an expression, it means it's asking you to make subject, and here it's asking us to make c a subject, that we have to isolate c. So let me write down the expression first. A is equals to 1 by 2 h c plus d. So this is our equation. So I have to make this c isolate. If we see, there are a lot of numbers just around here and there, onto the right and onto the left, and we have to see how we can make this c isolated. So what we have to do, that I can take this to right just here by cross multiplying it. So now it's 2a is equals to h c plus d. Now you see that what I did there is I remove a denominator. Denominator was making my expression equation a little bit difficult to deal with. So what I did, I removed the denominator by taking it on the other side. So now it's a little bit more simplified. Now I can take this h on the other side. So when I take this h on the other side, it would be 2a divided by h c plus d. Now if I see, now it's very easy for me to just take d on the other side and make the c a subject. So when I do that, so 2a divided by h minus d is equals to c. So now I have made c a subject. Here is another example. I have been given an equation that is x is equals to a plus square root a square plus b square, and the first part is to calculate the value of the x. Okay, so in this part, in the first part, we don't have to make anything a subject. It's like simple substitution of the values into this equation. So what I am going to do, I am going to substitute this value of a right here and right here, and I am going to substitute this value of b right just here. So if I write now x is equals to a, which is 0.73 plus square root 0.73 whole square plus 1.84 whole square. So now if I simplify my equation, so it would be 0.73 square is 0.5329 plus 1.84 square is 3.3856. So now if I add them up, it would be 3.9176. So now if I take the square root of this, it would be 1.979. Now if I add up with 0.73, I would be left behind with 2.709. If I see, I have to give my answer up to 2 decimal places. So what I am going to do, I am going to round it off to 2.71. So this is my answer for part 1. Okay, now let's moving on to the part 2. For the part 2, that I have to express b, so it means that I have to make b a subject. So if we can see that b is right just inside that square root, it is in a very difficult spot that we have to isolate it. So let me just write down the equation first. X is equals to a plus square root a square plus b square. Let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, first we can do, I can take this a on the other side. So when I take on a on the other side, it would be x minus a is equals to square root a square plus b square. So now the next thing that is bothering us, it would be this square root. I can say that b is inside this square root, and I cannot isolate it unless I remove this square root. We can remove the square root by taking square on both sides. So when I take square on both sides, I don't need to expand it. I can just write square as it is, and on this side I can cancel this square with this square root. I would be left behind with a square plus b square. Now I can take this square on the other side. It would further isolate b. I would be left behind with this. Now the only thing remaining is this square. Now we can remove this square by simply taking square root. If I have to take square root on both sides, so when I take square root on both sides, this would cancel out, and I would be left behind with b is equal to square root x minus a whole square minus a square. This is our answer, and I have made a b a subject. Next example also involves a square root. We can try doing one more example. Okay, here we have to make g a subject. Okay, so g is right inside this square root. First, what we are going to try to do is remove the things that are outside this square root and take those away on the other side. So what I can do is, let me write the equation first. T is equals to 2 pi square root L divided by G. What you have to do first is take this 2 pi on the other side. Now if you see, the 2 pi is being multiplied on this side. Okay, so when I take this 2 pi on the other side, it would get divided. So T divided by 2 pi is equal to square root L divided by G. The next step, we are going to remove this square root. The only way to remove a square root is by taking squares on both sides. So when I take square on both sides, it would become t square divided by 4 pi square. I don't need to put the value of a pi here because it's just asking me to write in terms of pi. In terms of pi means that I don't need to substitute a value. I can just put pi and take as it is. Okay, so when I on this side, the square and the square root cancels out, and I would be left behind with L divided by G. Now G is in the denominator. We can now cross multiply, so I can take this G in the numerator. When I do that, G t square is equals to 4 pi square L. The last step I can do, I have to take this t square on the other side. So when I take t square on the other side, it would become 4 pi square L divided by t square. So this is, here we have made G a subject.